Good draft so far, though, for SG.
Yeah, looking pretty solid, right? Not presenting any glaring weaknesses, even if they're maybe not the flashiest picks in the world here. But on the NoRunes side, well, what do they want the call to be here? Because I suppose, technically speaking, there is still a little bit that they could switch up here. At this point, I don't know if it's a good idea, but the Tusk could be mid. They could try to run him 3 as well, depending on the circumstances. So a little bit of flexibility survives ET, but they've got to sort of make the choice basically now.
Well, and so here's the thing. If they pick Minis Hero right now, they have to be 100% confident they can cover it with the next two bans.
Oh,
And they do pick Minis Hero, which
okay.
makes a little bit of sense because otherwise they, again, would probably have to pick Mars here, and then that screams that this is going to be a Tusk mid, and then it's going to be a Snapfire 4. But now they have flexibility coming into the final phase, so SG have a tough decision to make because in the back of our minds here, we could still move things maybe a little bit, but again, we'll have to see because the Terrorblade, that's Mini's hero. Surem, he's on CM, but rest of the lineup can still shift. And of course, NoRunes with last pick will want to move things around depending on what this lane is. But this is where you just got to hope. Did you have enough bans to cover this Terrorblade coming up? Morphling ban has to come out. We've already seen what it's been able to do in the past, but that's where you are digging a little bit deeper here for Yuma. But other than that, you're happy. And they're actually saying that this is probably an offlane Tusk and a Force Snapfire or vice versa. But I don't know. We'll see. Of course, Snapfire versus Undying, classic counter in lane. Can't go for Tombstone. If this is just going to be the 5 Undying, then yeah, you do counter him out pretty hard. But we'll have to see. And now Yuma, what is it going to be versus the Terrorblade? We'll see.
Mm-hmm. They've got some options available. They've got some time to think it over as well. So, well, part of me deep down wants to see Yuma bust out the Magnus again, but I don't really think that this is the time for that. It's just something that we haven't seen from him in a while. And I guess kind of for good reason, right? Carry Mag kind of dropped off, and it's only now usable in only a handful of situations. But if you're SG, are you looking for Yuma on someone with high damage and mobility, or do you think that they should look for something a little bit more durable in the Terrorblade matchup instead?
See, and I'm not Yuma, but if I were Yuma, this looks like a pretty sick lone druid game. But again,
Oh,
I'm not Yuma, and I don't know if that's necessarily the type of carry that he always likes to play, because that hero is still getting picked really regularly across the world, but just not over here. It's where I think that would maybe be one of their better options. But part of me also thinks Jug is pretty likely. And no, they actually turned it around for the Weaver. Not a bad option, of course, and they kind of had to go for a ranged hero in the safe lane just because there is still that question mark of what NoRunes want to do with their offlane situation. But okay, just safe, standard. There's also not too much lockdown for NoRunes, especially from the support, is where the Tusk is the scary one, and Snapfire and CM really don't do all too much versus the Weaver. So yeah,
right.
makes sense. Maybe not the best hero damage-wise to go versus the Terrorblade, but will be obnoxious enough to be just able to run around in those team fights and cause some issues for the rest of the lineup for sure.
Right. And if you're SG, if Yuma can do the damage on this Weaver, then Invoker, Beast, and Hoodwink late in the game should have enough damage to keep a TB locked down so that the Weaver can just hack away at him. So you don't necessarily have lockdown of your own in the carry position, but you may not necessarily need it. Meanwhile, for NoRunes, well, it's decision time. Do they put the Tusk mid, or do they just try and grab something for that mid matchup? I guess the Void and the Lena are still in there. Oh, okay. I still don't know who's going where, ET, but we do finally get to see another Lycan pick.
Hmm.
Uh,
And really,
Off
it's
lane.
only because they've got the Snapfire, but I was thinking about Lycan and kind of what the ramifications of that pick would be, just because you're picking Lycan into Undying, which does not sound like a fun lane. It sounds like a lane like the Undying is just going to chase you around forever. But, okay, you've got that Beast hero that we keep talking about being so important. It's really great versus the Hoodwink and the Invoker. Versus Yuma, it's still going to be hard to run him down because, of course, he is just Weaver. He moves pretty much as fast as you do, and he's got a little bit more life to work with. But we'll definitely put some pressure on. And I think if they didn't have Snapfire, couldn't look at the Lycan at all. But it is pretty nice to see them turn around the draft and then we'll have to see how it pans out. Because again, if Prada can do his job correctly, I feel like this lane might just be a shutout unless Hannes could do some heroics to make this a little bit easier for Heiko. But again, we'll have to see. Also, looking at Mini's TB Arcana, that's one of the sicker ones I've seen. I don't think I've
Whoa.
seen a purple one in a while. He just looks like Void Spirit. I don't know. I don't get to compliment cosmetics very much, but everybody's always blue or white or black or the broken ones. But purple looks pretty nice.
Yeah, he's got those, what are those? The prismatic gems, which I don't even think that they
Mm-hmm.
release those anymore, so that looks pretty damn cool, all things considered, which, well, does not affect Mini's actual gameplay in any significant way, but he's gonna look cool while he does it, win or lose, and isn't that really what we're all here for at the end of the day? You know, who cares about wins and losses? You gotta look damn cool.
No, and look damn cool he will. Even though, not the cheater ones, not the black TB Arcana that makes you just look like a reflection illusion the entire game. And look, he's got the dog.
Wait a
The
minute.
dog's standing here. Yeah, wait. A
Traitor!
new master, perhaps. Yeah. Well, we'll see once the CM persona comes out. Maybe there will be two dogs on the team, but I don't know. That persona is gonna be funny. Everybody didn't expect it. Whenever they saw it announced in the battle pass, everybody was like, "Oh, cool. She's gonna wait. She's the dog? Uh-oh. What's going on here?"
These cosmetics are getting crazy, but... Well, we do have a bit of a pause at the start of the game. We were able to avoid it in the first match, but it is what it is. So it is that Crystal Maiden who has disconnected, probably upset that her dog was stolen. So Sarem just saying, you know what, I quit. If you're gonna take my dog, I'm not on the team anymore. But you should hopefully be back pretty soon. In the meantime, everyone's just gonna scribble all over the mini map because, well, there's not much more to do. We're 3 seconds into the game. Everyone was just heading to their lanes, but it does give us maybe a chance to talk about those lanes a little bit, ET, starting with the mid, right? Because if this is going to be what we expect it to be, Tusk versus Invoker, Tusk normally, when he gets put mid, tries to play up and be aggressive. Is he going to be able to do the same thing against KXY here?
Yeah, that's where, honestly, the only thing that matters is whether or not he's able to dodge out the EMPs. And of course, we'll have to see what the skill build actually is, because Mid Tusk likes to actually max the ice shards instead of the tag team, just because Walrus Punch already does quite a bit of damage. So you have more Magic Burst, you can kind of be even more lane dominating. But that's where I think, plain and simple, if you can dodge the EMPs with Snowball, you got something to play for. If you can't dodge the EMPs with Snowball, that's exactly what KXY is going to look for to punish you, because you limit the Tusk mana pool. You can't really do anything except for look for more water runes. And my goodness, Yuma, he's getting fancier with it.
Oh, look at
Every single season, it just gets harder. Okay, that's just a straight up face.
that.
Yeah.
uh,
Sorry, Yuma. Yeah, don't want to talk about it too much, but
it's just drawing circles at this point. I thought for a moment that was some sort of plan, but no. Just circles. Maybe some words in there, but I can't understand any of that, so we're just gonna ignore it. Good news though, Crystal Maiden attempting a reconnect here, it would appear. There it is. Sarem is back in. Is he stable enough to go though? That's gonna be the question, but he's back in the server for now.
I don't know. Is this some code? Is this for whether or not you're gonna throw the game, Yuma? Like what was that? I made out like pesos Dio 16K. What? I don't know, Yuma. It probably is nothing. Just badgering, if anything. But nah, draft is underway. Yuma not the type of guy I think to go down that road anyway. He's got too much to play for and too much to lose with the teams that he's been able to acquaint himself with in the South American region. But is still an outsider, even though I think he's garnered a ton of respect with the colleagues that he's been able to play with. Uh, just being from across the world always, I think, causes maybe a few problems for you here and there, but he has done a pretty stellar job of, again, acquainting himself with some super high-level players. It's why he is where he is today.
It is kind of interesting though. I didn't realize. I thought he was a transplant the whole time. He still is, but at least according to Liquipedia, which you know, we all use Wikipedia, but every once in a while they're not true. But according to Wikipedia, he actually is German and either a citizen of or has descent Nicaragua. So that might have been part of the reason he makes that move in the first place. I never actually knew that about him. I thought he was just full-on European the whole way, but might have some SA blood in there, you know?
No. Still got the infinity tag as well, so, you know,
Yeah.
that's always indicative of the region. But
Rip Infinity.
looks like we're gonna do a 2-2 split. Yeah, Infinity, especially in BTS Pro Series 11, was looking so hot. And then they lost, I think in the entire tournament, they only lost 2 series, but the 2 series were in the bracket in playoffs. So then they were just done. So despite going like, I think it was like 13-1 or something, they just lose in best of threes, and then you just never see anything from them again. It's kind of
Yeah.
sad.
Struggled there, they struggled in TI quals, and then they kind of just decided to blow it up. But at least that frees up their players, right? You got Yuma here. Prada is actually still tagged for Infinity as well, so that is always the silver lining. A team goes down, but all of a sudden you got some high talent free agents in that pool. So well, we'll see what they can do. That duo laning together here, but I don't really know. I mean, Prada's gonna do undying things. It's just the nature of the hero, but we'll see if Yuma wants to get aggressive, because he could do it with the Shikuchi. He could, however, also just basically have the Undying create space for him and just focus entirely on farm and really not look to fight at all.
Oh, and yeah, that's where I think Heiko feeling like this lane is going to get a little bit more difficult, especially when there is that swarm that Yuma isn't actually able to place down, so instead he'll just get the Geminate. But this is another part of the Lycan. You get the creep wave, you get the creep cut going. Might not be as strong as the Boars, but if you can connect it with the Lycan without eating too much damage from the Undying, creep pull will be successful, and you're off to a pretty nice start. Something that, again, one of these heroes can do just to have that offlane be a little bit more under your control. Even though he does miss the wave, though, so Hannes is now going to have to track this all the way up, and Yuma will be able to freeze just as much. And if you're Heiko, you end up tanking quite a lot of creeps here, and all Prada has to do is, yep, force him to take it under tower, and now Yuma's going to have 3 waves shoved into his face.
Yeah.
So really smart play across the board.
It's a nifty move from Heiko to use the wolf there, but it's not quite as fast, so the timing gets thrown off a little bit, as you say. So, yeah, there's still going to be a benefit. It's just Yuma's not really going to be hard-pressed for anything on his own half, as Guts and KXY dishing out a little bit of damage here. Guts did have the snowball, but wasn't fully confident in his damage output, which, yeah, fair enough, right? Level 1 snowball doesn't really do the trick. He needed those shards back up.
Yeah, just trying to be annoying, trying to put pressure on. And it will be Quasflex Invoker versus the Tusk, which, again, makes sense. You want to get the EMP if you want to slow down the Tusk as much as you can. But also going into Tusk, I feel like, I guess base damage-wise, KXY is actually fine. But Tusk's attack animation just always comes out so quickly. You always see a ton of denies in core Tusk's lane just because, again, it's fast. It's a quick hit, despite not having any attack speed naturally.
Yeah, that animation's just a little... Well, I guess funky was the word I wanted to use, but if you're the Tusk, you're perfectly okay with it. In the meantime, we do have another pause out from the NoRunes side. This time it is Minnie who has disconnected, who... Well, no offense intended here to Surround, but Minnie is a little bit more important to the overall game plan on the TB, so they're going to look to get him back in, and especially want to make sure he's not lagging, because that was your meta being used down to about a third of its duration, so every time you pop that meta, you need to be really maximizing the efficiency out of it, just because of that just stupidly long cooldown. But looking at the other side of this matchup, BT, LTH, and Oscar have a lot that they can do once they start maybe getting a couple more levels, but they can be unbelievably obnoxious in this lane, as that is a kill up top on Tahane. Prada's going to get it, and there's first blood to SG's side.
Yeah, I think Snapper just got a little bit too close, and then, you know, you're playing versus Undying. You already are going to feel a little bit weaker with these attacks stolen, but yeah, TP mid, he's the cookie, hits it, perfect.
That was honestly, that was fantastic for KXY pre-TP. That's a fight that he was fairly confident he could either get the kill or force Guts out of lane. It's just Hane's a little bit faster, and that death in the top lane unfortunately has that sort of domino effect, right? It's only because he's dead that he TPs mid there in that timing. While you gave up first blood, you did get a kill over to that middle lane. As speaking of kills, Sarem just caught the back end of it there. Oscar's able to take him down, and well, just got done talking about how annoying this duo could be. They find the pick off, and Mini has no means of helping other than the slight slow from reflection.
Yeah, it's where Oscar is having a much better time than, unfortunately, Heiko is, because Heiko is currently on the run right now, just trying to make it so he can farm, and
Oh, man.
it's okay. Yuma is foregoing the creep wave under his tower to try and put pressure on the Hannes, but I feel like he's going to be kind of upset with himself after that. Seems like the wrong decision, but
It's going back
yeah.
in. I think he actually has this.
Yeah.
Should be faster, but takes a lot of time. Prada. Oh, they can't. They can't actually.
Oh yeah, hit him. Okay. Range creep does the job.
Oh my god. Range creep does what two heroes cannot, but they do pick up the kill. Gonna get it split. Now they're gonna come over and bully Heiko a bit, dropping the tombstone down, and actually, this is more than bullying. They might be able to find the kill. Prada, though, he didn't get out in front for the body blocks, but if Yuma can wait for the Shikuchi, never mind, who needs to wait? Prada just finds the kill himself, but now he doesn't have mana to TP home. He's able to dodge the cookie, though. Scatterblast does still hit him, but he is going to walk away from this. Heiko, look at this play. He's dead, but he's still using those wolves, pulling a creep wave out and trying to link up with it as he TPs in.
Yeah, no, this is like maybe the 5th or 6th he's tried. A lot of them have been unsuccessful just because, again, Prada's been very annoying. And even the Weaver as well, just great at closing that gap and being obnoxious. But that's where I think Hannes was able to at least buy out his boots before he died. So he is going to be on the run, trying to make rotations happen. And of course, with runes up in 20 seconds, looking over at mid. Ooh, the shards just barely off the mark there. But he's going to stick around. Gonna see if he can at least secure the real rune for his Tusk, and if not, then maybe they go for a dive onto the Invoker.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be a little bit patient, and he needs to also watch out that Prada doesn't spot him. Oh,
Nice
or the scan. Yeah, there you go. Now they're in a position to maybe try and fight for this rune, although Prada is checking the Roche Pit first. That's a little bit awkward, and now that might mean that KXY gets picked off here. Can he get the Tornado? Yes, he can, connecting onto 2. But he's still in some trouble. The shards come through. Guts dropping low himself. Cold Snap is there, but so is the Snowball. Guts might still die. No, Prada has to veer off, seeing the supports coming in. But Prada's not the one who's going to get punished. It's actually LTH who's just stuck in here. He does turn around, though, looking for the damage. Can he get Guts? No, he can't. He's got 15 HP. He does some fancy dancing. Double kill for the Tusk, and he walks away the winner.
No. Very nice there, and I think maybe on that scan they thought that it was just the Tusk, knowing that he was checking for the top rune, because I feel like there's almost no way that they walk onto the glow ground like that if they know where that Snapfire is standing, so it kind of just a guess in the dark that they end up really paying for, but we'll have to see, because of course you have to still walk back to base. He was pretty low, but there's gold in your back pocket if you're this Tusk, and that's where, level-wise, you're getting further and further up there, and then you start to show up in those side lanes, and then you start winning every lane. It's just turning one lane into the rest. As bottom, Roar, okay, solo kill. I mean, he just got way too low.
Oscar does it. He's got 3 points up in the Wild Axes as well, so the damage was there, and... well... yeah, Mini just playing that a little bit, too dangerously, I guess. Oscar recognizes the opportunity when he sees it, and... Crystal Maiden's back in lane now. Sarem's going to get a little bit of experience as he does hit level 4, but far too late to see his teammate. But now KXY getting jumped in the river. They're going to dust him up, so the Ghost Walk isn't going to help him here. He needs some backup. Prada coming in, dropping the Tombstone, going for the heal. It's a little bit, but it's not enough. Guts still finds the kill, and now Prada's kind of trapped in the middle of this. They're going to clean up his Tombstone too, so they're going to get 2 kills potentially, and Tombstone gold. Yeah. Prada's gonna go down here. Guts picks up another double kill, and BT, this middle lane is looking like exactly the formula NoRunes were hoping for when they put this Tusk in it.
Yeah, I just don't feel like the Invoker has really done a careful enough job here. It's where simply if there's too much distance in between him and the Tusk, then the Tornado should be enough to just stop the play. But Hannes as well has just been playing incredibly nicely. When you can't help your Lycan, sure, put the pressure elsewhere, get them to rotate out. And of course, retroactively forcing the Undying out of top means that Tycho gets more space. So by winning mid, again, it's just NoRunes translating a single one lane into winning all of the other ones. Bottom is still a problem, though. Oscar's got a really fast home of the Dominator. He's got very nice timings. Even has his roar back up with how fast that first kill was, pretty much as soon as he got level 6. So he's got it up for the fight, but he's going to be the next hit on NoRunes' list to try and slow down SG.
Well, Guts is doing a little bit of moving here back and forth. Hasn't really been able to pin down exactly which lane he wants to be in. But that is the downside with him going top. That is a Weaver. It's not an easy kill, especially if Heiko's the only one you have helping you, because then your own lockdown on the Tusk is the only lockdown you have. But here comes Hane, looking to help out. Do they get some vision down? Well, not really, but they do just spot out the heroes with their eyes, but that's still not going to give them the opening that they were hoping for. And at this point, Guts has spent a lot of time in this lane and hasn't found his opening yet.
Yeah, no, it's nice attempt, but they walk away. He comes back mid. It could just, subvert everything and then just immediately gets the kill into KXY. But that's where this time around, though, with the word in the river that didn't get
Oh,
worded out. Always still trying for it, but yep, there's the tornado. There's the shards, though.
did get it.
Well,
Snowball's in. Dust is on him. They're going to drop the root. Should be enough damage. There we go. Hane's going to be the one to grab it. There is a TP in from both of the supports, but there we go. Yuma's into the fight as well. Maybe now they can make something happen. The root, though, does come out from Sarem. Going to slow them up with the Nova as well. They're still chasing, but now here come the kisses. The snowball's in as well. LTH going to get taken down. Prada in a rough spot as well. But it looks like they're going to be able to pull people back, but Oscar says, let's go in. He's going to drop the roar, but this isn't a great situation. Guts is in here. He is looking to do some damage. Mini has come over as well. This is a full-on team fight at 10 minutes. And I don't know if it's one SG wins. Oscar's in some trouble. There's going to be the snowball to lock him down. Mini picks up both kills. KXY has a tornado. He'll deploy it here. Only hits the illusion, though. And now, KXY, you got to get the hell out of here. He's not going to make it, though. The shards will trap Moth. He's standing on a sentry, so he can't. Oh, my God. He can't ghost walk out. And Mini says, I'm not even going to let my teammate die. He sunders the CM to make sure nothing happens. And Mini picks up 3 kills in that fight. SG, I don't know. That's throwing way too much in there.
no, they just got, I think, a little bit ahead of themselves. And, of course, not keeping track of the levels. Because, really, of course, you never expect the Snapfire to be level 6 without needing that tome. But he simply gets it after the Invoker kill. And then, with both supports just running up the high ground like that, just way too risky of a play. And during that entire time as well, the Lycan claims the top tower. Lycan gets level 8, and now Prada, who, again, didn't get very much from that fight, gets taken down. And sure, maybe not the most impactful first Lycan shapeshift, but free kill's a free kill, and they're right back on the mid.
KXY is in their sights. It's going to be the first jump to get the cook. They do get the cookie down, and
over.
oh man, all it takes is that first stun, and Guts can close the gap. And now they're going to lose another tower. Tier 1's going down, and ET, we're 12 minutes in, and we're already kind of getting into a bit of a danger zone here.
No, and they want to come and they want to try and clear this out, but that's where you look at SG's lineup and you say, well, you don't have the greatest wave clear. This Lycan pick is kind of a beast, and, well, our beast is still catching up in the bottom lane, and he cannot rotate out. It's where I think the Lycan is a little bit more adept at TPing to actual lanes, where Beastmaster always needs to get smoked. He always needs to get brought with the rest of his team in mid.
No.
Still a little crazy, but
Definitely
okay.
Blast is there. Is it enough, though? The kisses are still coming in, and KXY is just going to die. Guts will walk away. Maybe he won't. Yuma's coming in for some damage, and they do trade him out. That is Guts' unstoppable streak that they bring to an end, so that's a nice bit of gold into Yuma's hands, but KXY just does not have a game anymore.
No, the Invoker is 0-7.
Mm.
He is just gotten super hard punished anytime he tries to show up. Good thing is, he is going Midas. He's not beating around the bush. This is no, I've died 7 times and I've got a 17-minute Witchblade. he is going to be on that road to recovery eventually, but until then, yeah, not the prettiest game from him so far.
Yeah, he's on the road to recovery, but it is a very, very long road. So we'll see what he can do. Because right now, you take a look at where he's standing. The Snapfire is closer to him than the Lycan is. So not a great sign. And that Midas that he's going for, it's not exactly an imminent purchase. He's still several hundred gold away from it. So has to be unbelievably careful here, especially where he's positioned out by himself in the top lane. You see, they actually pop a little bit of a scan there just to make sure nobody's tracking him down. But there is a wolf on his tail, or there was one, loses vision, but KXY has to know, I've died 7 times, they're gonna keep on hunting for me because he's just the easiest target, but right now, they're actually hunting for Oscar. There's gonna be the cookie stun, the roar comes through, but the snowball's able to dodge it, and Oscar is still in some trouble, but there are TPs in from his teammates. Sharpshooter, will it connect? Yes, it will. Hane dropped. Yuma gets the kill. The Weaver's starting to get a little bit more involved now, ET, and considering KXY struggles, that's exactly what SG need.
Yeah, and it is a pretty nice Weaver game. You can just afford to do that. And
Ooh,
okay, Guts
what a
got
shot!
clipped by that. Yeah.
Can they finish it, though? Okay, that's certainly going to help. That should allow them to find the kill, and KXY, I see you. 0-7, but he's still firing, and he gets that max range tornado to find an extra one.
Yeah, and that was with just maybe a glimpse of vision in the daytime, but also the Hawks coming through, an aspect of Beastmaster that you always have to talk about, where he's just able to allow his teammates to take fights with maybe a little bit more confidence, especially during the nighttime. And that's also where I think if you're NoRunes, don't give up that play again here. Let your Tusk finish his Blink Dagger, then you can do something else. But that's also where NoRunes in the pit. Yeah, it's free. You got a Vlad's finished up. You're still very farmed on those heroes, and you just use the meta to get it. But don't give up anything else, because it is a slippery slope.
TB had meta. He had a DD rune going for him there, too, so he just smacks away at it, and that is pretty free. Speaking of potentially free here, Sarem is on the run. Yuma's going to just chunk him down there. Got a little Maelstrom proc at the end to help out. They will find that kill. Now they want more. Tornado in. It's going to hit onto one. Hane, hit by the sharpshooter as well. LTH's aim has been pretty damn good here between him and KXY. They are hitting on these skill shots.
Yeah, and that's why they ended up going for this Weaver. It is very obnoxious for you to actually deal with him. If you're the Snapfire or the CM, you kind of just get run down. It's where you have to be the aggressors in that situation. Otherwise, you do kind of just get run down and walked away from. It's also where getting cold feet on Guts there, of course, it's a pretty impossible situation. You don't want to force yourself to just die, but it still feels like they need to get maybe a little bit of revenge here as, okay, Ancient Black Dragon on the run, but Shapeshift, they get a little bit of vision, and Beastmaster, nice play from Guts.
Can he get off a roar here before he goes down? Yes, he can. Deafening Blast is in as well, and Guts is stuck on the high ground. Freezing Field coming out from Sarem, though. That's going to push everybody back, but Guts does still fall. Traded out for Oscar, but now that is Mini getting hit up. He doesn't have anything to really protect himself other than, I guess, the Aegis. Oh! I thought he was just going to use the Aegis. Instead, he'll Sunder Prada. That's going to get him back up. But Yuma, he wants to chase. The problem is, look at these Mortimer Kisses pushing everybody back. So they do take the first life, but I don't know if they can set up for a second. Well, they can if they get the Bushwhack. And now that Sunder earlier looks a little bit more awkward because Mini has to run. Sarem is going to cover the retreat with the Frostbite. Yuma, does he want to keep chasing? No, he does not. He is eventually going to back away, and all is well. TB doesn't get punished there, but and that was a little bit strange, using the Sunder on the first life.
Yeah, making it maybe a little bit closer, but also just wanting to stay healthy, stay a little bit stronger. But that's your Aegis gone. That's also, again, your Shapeshift, a timing now for SG to punish, where you didn't really use that much on your side, and now you can kind of look at your opponents and say your cooldowns are pretty long. There's no meta, there's no kisses, there's no Shapeshift. What can we do should be what SG are thinking about, but we'll see if they decide to push the issue or if they just end up farming and finishing up some of these big items, like, for instance, the Gleipnir, which is getting built up on Yuma, and then that's going to be a perfect choice. One of the biggest counters versus Tusk, of course, is just simply rooting him, where he cannot do anything. He can't cast Snowball. He can't punch anybody. He's held at arm's length. One of the worst feelings in all of Dota.
Being a Tusk who can't move is just kind of really antithetical to the whole point of the hero. But if they wait for those items, it is going to get a little awkward, because you take a look, Oscar's got his roar back up, so I don't know. They are kind of ready to go, right? Sharpshooter's back up too, so it is unfortunate that they have to wait, but on the other hand, if they do actually come into the next fight with the Gleipnir, then it's going to be pretty damn hard to lose that fight unless they make some massive mistakes. Although, look at these TPs coming into the bottom lane. Guts wants to fight. They're going to make the jump onto Oscar. Snowball is onto him. Mini waiting and biding his time. He did get stunned up there. The roar is going to connect too. Oscar's trying to make a run for it, but he's not going to get out.
Yeah. Okay. We'll Sunder CM. Makes sense. They also just...
Oh!
Huh.
Hold on.
Okay.
Wait. The sharpshooter hits, but it actually didn't do enough for the kill. It was the swarm beetle from Yuma that actually brought the CM down. That's actually incredible. LTH manages to not steal the kill from his teammate.
Damn you, Mini. Killing Sarem. Cold blood. That's unfortunate, I guess, but still very funny. And yeah, here you go. Gleipnir done. In the bushwhack. Oh, it's so good.
Guts is not dead yet. LTH needs some help. They're going to heal him up, but with those minions just chasing after him, he does still go down, but that means Guts is... Yeah, he's straight dead. Prado? Okay, he's got a smoke to get away from him. That is unfortunate, but that is still the strength of the Lycan. Even if he's not in the fight, his creeps sure as hell are.
Yeah, and that is one of the counters I think we've seen at least one other support go for it. It's in that same vein as like Sniper Assassinate, where you just pop it, you're like, oh, I'm safe. It's one of the few interactions that actually work here, but it's definitely useful with how strong of a Lycan game this is and how weak I think those SG supports can be. But yeah, Gleipnir reveal. Couldn't ask for a better way for Yuma to show that off.
Found some nice kills there. In the meantime, Prada continues to try and scout things out mid a little bit. They've got this very forward ward as well, so an area of the map NoRunes really can't afford to be in at the moment, but they are attempting to deward their own jungle. A decent job of it, but now up top, a little bit of a rough situation. Mini, he is going to go down.
Wow.
Sunstrike in, allows Yuma to get that last bit of damage. Boy, oh boy, Gleipnir sure is a great item, isn't it? Because there's just no way out for the TB.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he had already used his Manta, it just cooled down while he's dead, or what happened there, but it must have just been an insane timing that Yuma found, because, yeah, he does have the item to get out of it, but it's just wasn't there. Didn't use it, didn't get the Sunder off either, because Yuma was very careful about fogging him, but that's also where another Sunstrike on the D ward, punishing Hane in neutrals, though.
Yep.
They got it.
Well, you do get immediately dewarded and you die, but at least you don't give up any gold. That's going to count for something. However, still gold being surrendered there. Tier 1 tower in the top lane gets taken down. That is the final Tier 1 tower on the NoRunes side. So it's going to start to get a little bit concerning here moving forward, right? SG, still the squad with a lot more sort of pushing power at this stage in the game than their opponents. So NoRunes have to be careful. If they lose some of these Tier 2s now, moving across the map's not going to be easy for them. But they are trying to force some sort of fight. This is not even a smoke, just a straight up march into their own jungle. Tombstone, I don't know, that seemed a little preemptive there, but just trying to be ready if they did push forward. But now they know. Tombstone's on the high ground. Zombies are getting summoned. Let's not go any further.
No, but smoke coming through. Time for them to move forward. Scotty just finished on that Terrorblade as well, so time for Mini to maybe look for somebody to hit in these team fights in KXY. Well, that's the smoke. That's the Tusk. It's happened again. But honestly, with how much that has been committed, I think you're kind of okay with that. Shapeshift was used. Smoke was used. Orchid reveal. But Yuma gets to walk away. And with Roshan not being able to respawn just yet, Invoker will be alive before NoRunes can really force too much here.
Yeah, it's a solid kill, that's for sure, but 5-man smoke, you were kind of hoping for a little bit more, and to be honest, KXY is contributing, he is recovering a little bit here, he's not the last place hero anymore, but he's still not exactly a crazy high value, although Guts is pretty high value, and he's going to get rooted up, stunned as well from the bushwhack. And NoRunes, do you want this? Sarem kind of doesn't have a choice. He's a Crystal Maiden. He wasn't going to go anywhere, so just had to try and channel out the freezing field and do what he could. But this sets up for that potential Roche. Unfortunately for SG, still over a minute on that timer. So they didn't quite get the good fortune, but they're able to push NoRunes back. They can maybe set up some vision for when that Roche does respawn.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll have to see because, yeah, a minute on the timer. Don't think it's going to result in too many big item timings here. I feel like that's where, until we get maybe a BKB up onto Yuma, he still needs to be very careful about just straight up getting sundered. Doesn't have a Lincoln Sphere either. Funnily enough, he's gone for this this Mantis style and was actually able to super quickly change his build just to counter out the Lycan from Heiko. So we'll actually not really have to worry about the Orchid, which is kind of a stroke of luck. I feel like that's where now he has pretty much any answer to NoRunes in their lockdown, aside from Guts just going in and bursting him with the punch. But if that's how it's going to go, then that's how it's going to go. But you're still getting extremely farmed on this Weaver, and there's still, again, no real answer. It's where I think might be time to start ignoring the Weaver yet again. But ignoring the Weaver, but not settling for the Invoker, because I still feel like KXY does not really matter too much for the team just yet. It's where getting Oscar would maybe matter a little bit more, but Smoke read a little bit faster in Prada. He is chained up here, and Guts, yeah, we'll track it down right as Roshi spawns, but Prada has buyback, so if he does need to get into that Roche fight, he can.
And SG are the ones who have the vision of the pit, whereas NoRunes don't, so they would have to physically check, and that is a play that could cost them a little bit of extra time, as you see SG already making their way over. Four-man Smoke. They don't have their own outpost, though, so he does have to TP onto the tier 2. That is a little bit slower, but there's Yuma into the pit, or into the area around the pit at least, as they're going to take down Sarem. They want a little bit more. Hane dropping low as well. Yuma's going to be able to pick up both. They're even clearing some of these creeps out. This is a not great situation if you're Heiko. He's trying to pull everybody back, but as he pulls back, they spawn Mini. Can he get himself out of this? Oh, they're not getting out. They're trying to get back in. Oscar, though, has his BKB. He's going to drop the Roar now onto Mini. Can they take him down in time? He needs the Sunder. He's not going to be able to get it. Mini will fall. Hane. Well, he was trying to channel out the Mortimer Kisses, and I guess he did do so, ET. It's just it cost him his life.
Oh, now run, Heiko, run. But
oh, he's not getting
you
out.
Can't make it away.
Well, that is unbelievably awkward for him. He just couldn't get out. Shapeshift really wasn't there for him anymore. Yuma finds a double kill in there. I think he might have gotten the very first kill as well, so it's 3 in the fight in total, and they take Roshan. SG really swinging things their way, and Yuma, yeah, he's 11-0-9. He is beyond godlike now on his Weaver.
Yuma's absolutely massive. Just got a DD rune as well, so,
Okay.
Sarem, run.
Who would like to fight me, says Yuma.
Well,
this isn't much of a fight. That's an execution. Jesus.
Yeah, aren't able to lock that one out in the slightest, but yeah, the lead, it's starting to become a little bit worrisome right now, and even Mini, who is looking for this BKB, and once he has it, well, the problem, of course, is that you just get roared still. You can still die in the exact same fashion that you have before. It's also where coming into items like a full Daedalus for Yuma, I don't know, he's just getting so much so quickly. This Weaver really is not ramping down. And lockdown-wise, we're still all in on Guts. It is still just the Tusk going in. It's where I think this Lycan still feels pretty nice, but again, your draft feels so much better from ahead than now that SG have you in this very odd position where they just have so much more net worth, so much more luxury to play around. I don't know how you take a convincing engagement anymore. Guts is trying to finish an Ags, but aside from that, still can't really make any team fight happen. And Heiko, you don't want to be forced to shapeshift here, but oh, do you just eat the death? Yeah.
They are just doing so much work with the lockdown that they have. And I do want to point out as well, you look at KXY, he got his BKB. And he got it before the TB. Of course, it's because the TB is buying like 3 other items. But this Invoker is no longer just trying to catch up. He has caught up. He just bought a Blink Dagger for himself as well. So he has everything that he needs to be into the middle of these fights. He's got maxed out Exort, so the damage is going to be there. And as you said, NoRunes, it's just feeling like they still only have 1 or 2 plays. If it's not Guts or Mini just winning the fight for them straight up, then they don't win it.
No, and now You're playing in all 3 lanes, so you look for the opening that NoRunes might be able to find. It's where to play 3 lanes, somebody has to be making mistakes. Somebody has to be spread out too thin, but got your Aegis Weaver in the bottom lane pushing it. You'd probably look to try and find Oscar, but it's where there's so much vision, so many Hawks in between that it's just not happening. At least you're getting some split push going, but yeah, Manta popped. Oh my goodness, it's 6 levels in between the Weaver and the Terrorblade. Not fun, and Guts loses his courier, so that's your Aghanim Scepter sideline for 3 minutes. Well.
Oh boy, who just did that? Hey there, KXY, that's not when you're supposed to do that. Okay. BKB used, that's the 9-second. At the same time, Mini got his BKB brought out to him, so Magic Immunity for the TB, going to be very useful. As you mentioned, still the roar that he has to be careful of, but at least some of the other lockdowns going to be less effective. That might just buy him the time to sunder if he is in trouble. Prada, speaking of trouble, yeah, you're not getting away from this one. That's the support life in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, physical damage just a little bit too fast, and still really solid from Tusk. It's why Tusk is Tusk, but that's where we are still in this chokehold of the map. Got a D-word, though, and well, Yuma, he's here to throw himself at you. Still has a minute 30 on his Aegis, so support's gotta make an exit. I don't think he's gonna... Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That's not okay. Sarem force-staffed away in the middle of all of his teammates. Doesn't matter. Gets him with the Daedalus for the extra damage. Got the Geminate, so... yeah, that's just not fair if you're the Crystal Maiden. Low death timer, at least, if you're looking for silver linings there, so he is going to be back up, but SG just keep on trying to sort of close this ring around their opponents, pushing for those outer towers. Only downside, Aegis is 50 seconds away from being reclaimed, so if you're looking for an actual high ground push, you got to go soon. But KXY, he just started off onto Mini. That's going to force his BKB. They might just be able to wait this out. No, Yuma's actually going to get eyes on Heiko instead, so they do allow Mini to TP home. But they know he doesn't have that magic immunity to work with anymore, so Yuma's going to push in. He just says, somebody kill me. I've got 30 seconds on this Aegis. But nobody can even really come up to him, and if that's the case... I was going to say they could push the tower, but where is their actual creep wave? It is quite a ways back.
Yeah, it still did do some pretty good damage to that tower. Just ate the tome on Yuma as well, because I suppose he's just looking for the 25. Where he's just trying to ramp up as fast as he can, but there you go. Aegis is going to expire in 10 seconds here. Probably doesn't want to get hit either, because he will just lose a good chunk of the mana that he's going to get back for free, but... NoRunes are still looking for their opportunity, and there you go. Courier respawns. You can kick back now, and especially Oscar. Oh, he thought that he could connect. He just channels out the freezing field, thinking that Guts almost preemptively has that kick, but it just doesn't happen. So, well, there's freezing field.
That's unfortunate, but yeah, it is worth noting for Guts. He's got the Ag, so the Walrus kick is there. It's something SG are going to have to be careful of, because as of right now, taking a look at the items for them, they don't have anything to really block it. I don't know. Maybe Yuma pulls off some sort of Manta dodge there as... oh, fight breaks out in the jungle. Guts gets taken down, so the kick doesn't matter. Prada does get sacrificed, but that's not going to matter. If they can keep pushing in, they're just going to take this fight as Sarem is not dead yet. Yuma's trying to fix that, and he's able to get it.
Yeah, preemptively time lapses away as well. I mean, this game is just not really working right now for them. This is just a little bit too much pressure put onto NoRunes, and Guts is not balling out of control nearly as much as I think he needed to. And the Gleipnir is just crushing. Just great item choice. 25 as well in Yuma now, so if your buildings aren't going to melt, well, your heroes are just the same. And, well, there you go. Even trying for Heiko, and, well...
oh, that's a crit and a half right there as the Lycans just melted. Yeah, I mean, with 3 attacks, one of them's going to crit. It's just, that's not exactly how the math works, but it might as well. As you say, they are pushing in. They got one of the tier 4s before they start looking for the middle lane. Oscar just got kicked back, but he's got his BKB. Does he get off a roar, though?
Uh-oh.
He doesn't need one, but he's going to deploy it there onto Guts. Mini now comes in, popping the Sunder offensively, but they still haven't taken anyone down. And Mini, where'd all your health go? Mini? He's just dead. Yuma destroys him. That is post Sunder, and that's GG. Yeah, NoRunes say, listen, we're done. There's nothing left to be done here. That is going to be a 2-0 sweep for SG as Yuma pads the stats.
Oh, 21, 0, and 11. Yuma just took the server by command, and then, yeah, just did it. I
My
think,
server now.
far cry from his 8 death TA in game 1. He kind of just said, yeah, okay, I have the opportunity to win this game for my team. And really just never skipped the beat, never was really under much threat either. Just a fantastic pickup with the Weaver. And of course, they do pick it as the last pick at the end of the day. But also, I think just dropping the ball a little bit for NoRunes in that mid game. We're not really able to make too many plays happen with Heiko, where he was able to get onto supports actually. And even with just small things like the Force Half, the Glimmer Cape on the Hoodwink, and the Undying, it just ends up taking a little bit too long. And then suddenly you realize, well, I'm shapeshifted and my shapeshift is over, well, not only do I have to get away, but I have to escape from a tombstone. And you don't escape from the tombstone still. You still just die. Just pretty impossible fights that they just simply couldn't win. And then Yuma with his Gleipnir just kind of ruined the rest of the mid game, and then everything just starts to fall apart so quickly. And then you also realize that, okay, sure, NoRunes got that first Aegis so quickly, but then they lost it just about as fast as they got it, and then second Roche was not even a chance for them. It just ended up being, I think, too favorable for SG, and then, yeah, you get 2-0'd, but NoRunes, they don't have time to think about that. They got to look at their next series.
Yeah, they are getting ready for the next series. I do want to point out one thing, though. Did want to check those numbers. You take a look at the top 3 damage dealers on NoRune's side, right? Hane, Guts, Mini. They combine to do about 42k hero damage, right? Respectable. Yuma does 42k by himself. On the just I don't we are running out of ways, ET, to express how unbelievably good Yuma is, right? Talked about the low death count, the win streak now for SG, which, by the way, is now at 9 consecutive games. And then he outdamages the top 3 damage dealers combined on the opposing team.
Yeah, and I think now they've got, what is that, 9 wins,
Mhm.
meaning that it coming into their next series, and their next series for SG is going to be a little bit of a fight. They're going up against the cut, a lineup that, again, we keep talking about is just playing so fantastically. So we'll have to see the results of that game, but that's where 2 upper bracket teams coming up against each other. If they won that series, they almost ensure both of them get to be upper bracket teams. So we'll have to see, but SG put themselves in a phenomenal position.
Mm. They get to sit back and relax. Meanwhile, NoRunes. Got to get ready for the next one. Put this loss out of your minds. They are going to be moving on to their series against Dogchamp, who, admittedly, will be maybe a bit of a softer opponent than this SG lineup. So we'll see if NoRunes can salvage some points on the day. We are going to be hopping into a break, though. Just fair warning, it might be a little bit of a longer one, because NoRunes obviously playing the back-to-back. We might give them a little bit more time if they want it. So with that in mind, we will be stepping away for a little bit, but when we return, it will be the Game 1 draft between Dogchamp and NoRunes.